Do you want to say something? Well, you can if you want to open with something.
I'm
but
good.
You can
I'll
just
let
open
y'all.
up for questions if you're ready.
Yeah.
Why was this the job you wanted to pursue and take with Coach Beal?
Well, obviously, Big Ten kind of speaks for itself, right? You know, they've had a track record for success, and Coach B's had a track record for success everywhere he's ever been. So just those things combined, winning program, you know, good people in the program, and, you know, opportunity to do it at the highest level was what was really attractive for me.
How would you just describe your approach to coaching special teams or your philosophy?
Well, you know, I know Coach just mentioned earlier, coaching's teaching. So whatever it is you're doing, you got to be able to teach it, and you got to be, you know, bought into whatever you're doing. If you want the players to be bought in, you better be bought in. So whether it's coaching the tight ends or coaching the punt team, whatever it is we're doing at that moment is the most important thing at that moment, you know. And I think that and having genuine relationships with the players and all that goes a long way. I mean, it's about the team, right? So, you know, special teams is part of the team, and, you know, I think you coach hard, they'll play hard, and you got genuine relationships with them, and you can you know, have an edge in that factor.
Coach, what was the process that led to your hiring here? How was that connection made with Illinois?
Yeah, you know, I didn't really have any connections on staff. I'd met a couple of guys before out recruiting, but I didn't really know any of them. Coach B had reached out to me last week, asked if I'd be interested in interviewing. So I ended up interviewing last Thursday/Friday, and he called me on Monday and offered the job, and I drove out here Tuesday. In the office Wednesday, so sometimes it happens fast. So family's still back in Louisiana, so looking forward to getting them out here at the end of the school year.
Seems like you're uniquely qualified for this job that opened up with experience in both jobs. Was a little bit of luck involved in that, or?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I mean, I'd never met Coach B. I've known a couple people that work for him and stuff, but yeah. I mean, obviously I was lucky to get an opportunity to interview. You know, so that part was fortunate.
Were you surprised to hear from Brett, given you didn't have any real connections with him?
I just saw an Illinois number come up, and I was in a meeting, so I didn't answer it, and there was a voicemail. I was like, oh, shoot, probably should call this guy back, you know? So, I was a little surprised, to be honest with you, because I didn't even, you know, like I said, I don't have any, like, true connections to the staff. Obviously, being around here for 2 days now, great people, you can tell that, genuine people, and, you know, but, I was a little bit surprised.
Had you been here before for anything, or for a game?
No, I'd never been to Champaign. You know, I used to be an assistant coach at Toledo, and I recruited Chicago, and I'm from Missouri, so I've obviously been to Illinois, but no, I'd never been to Champaign for any reason.
What do you know about the specialists you have on the roster so far? It's kind of unique where you got a pretty big group of scholarship specialists.
Yeah, no, we got a good group, and, you know, most of them return, which is exciting. So, you know, I'm looking forward to getting to work with them all. And, you know, I met them all yesterday. They all seem like great kids, and just from watching the film, it looks like we have some talent in that room. So, you know, we can, you know, obviously do everything we can to be the most consistent we can be, but it's exciting. It's a good group, so it should be good.
Well, how have you kind of developed your career under the guys that you've worked for most recently, and how have they kind of allowed you to kind of adapt your aggressive style when you coach special teams?
Well, the guy I learned from, you know, the guy that gave me my first college job was Coach Fritz.
Right.
And I'll forever be grateful to him. You know, he's probably had a bigger impact on my career than anybody else. You know, and he gave me an opportunity at Sam Houston State. I was with him for 4 years there. It was my first job in college, and he hired me back last year. And you know, he's about as down to earth, genuine, humble, good of a football coach as there is. So as good of a person as there is. So I'd say, you know, 90% of what we do is stuff I got directly from him. You know, so he's been the one I mostly learned, you know, from, and he's been awesome for me.
Given that relationship with him, obviously you guys had a good thing going there. How difficult was the decision to try something new with him?
Yeah, it was hard. You know, I love Coach Fritz. You know, at the end of the day, being in the Big Ten and the opportunity to coach tight ends again, which is something I did at Toledo, and I did one other stop, and something I really enjoyed doing. You know, So those two things are kind of big factors in it.
See enjoyment. Where do you find the enjoyment with the tight ends? Like, what's
Oh, I love coaching tight ends. So tight ends is, you get to be involved in everything. You know what I mean? It's other than the quarterback. You know, you're probably involved in, as far as the offense it goes, you know, run game, all of it, pass game, every now and then pass pro. So you get to be involved in all of it. You get to teach a lot of football, and you know, you're around some really, really good kids too. That's one thing I really like about the tight end spot. So it's a really fun position to coach, in my opinion. So I was very excited to get this opportunity.
You guys just had one of those years, that kind of magical type
Mhm.
years. Did you see that coming like last spring, or was it kind of out of the blue even for the coaching staff?
Yeah, you mean at Tulane
Yeah,
last year?
Tulane, yeah.
So we, you know, the year before they struggled a little bit, but
Right.
what people don't take into account is, you know, I mean, they were just placed in Birmingham with the hurricane
Right.
for, in the middle of the season for 5-6 weeks, something like that. And, you know, they had some injuries and, you know, and different stuff like that. So about everything that could have gone wrong went wrong that year. And, you know, this year we had a lot of the players back, and, you know, obviously we had some really talented kids that all came back. And, you know, I know we hired some new coaches last year, and felt like some of those guys did a good job. And, you know, it just ended up being one of those seasons where a lot of things, we won a lot of close games, stuff went our way, and, you know, had some success. And like I said, I think Coach Fritz is one of the best in the business. I think he's one of the most underrated guys in this country, so he can win anywhere.
Coach, recruiting-wise, where are your strongest connections, and have you had that conversation with Coach Bielema about territories and all that yet?
Nothing's been finalized as far as territory yet. You know, as far as recruiting, last couple stops I've had Houston. You know, I know we don't necessarily get down there that often from here. From Kansas City, so I feel pretty comfortable recruiting there, and really anywhere in the state of Missouri. You know, I was assistant at Toledo for 4 years, and you know, I recruited to Chicago. You know, I also had parts of Michigan and parts of Ohio, so I feel comfortable in all those areas. So, but nothing's been finalized as far as area and stuff. So we'll see. But I feel pretty good about recruiting this area wherever he wants me.
What did you learn from your year with Kirby, your year with Billy? Obviously, those guys have had a lot of success. So getting away from, you know, Willie, what did you learn from those guys?
Yeah, there's a million different ways to do it. You know what I mean? I think both of those guys are highly organized people, highly detailed, both incredibly intelligent, you know, obviously good recruiters, and both run a really good program, and you know, just shows there's a lot of different ways to do it, you know. But I would say, as far as Coach Smart, he's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. So, and he's a really, really good person as well. So I learned a lot from him.
Is there a level of excitement, you kind of mentioned it, but with working for Coach B and coaching the tight ends, that's a position group he really wants to emphasize in his offense. Is there a level of excitement that you could be a part of that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm excited about it. So, you know, I've been up there with the offensive staff the last day and a half trying to learn the stuff, and, you know, they definitely use the tight ends a lot, which is exciting. So, I mean, that's a big reason why I really, really wanted to come here. And, but yeah, it's you know, I think some programs use their tight ends more than others, and I think it can be an advantage for you and a mismatch in a lot of ways. So it's exciting to come be a tight ends coach somewhere where the tight ends are valued and it's important, and you know, we're going to put time and effort into using them and recruiting them and developing them. So yeah, that part's exciting.
Coach Bielema talks a lot about complementary football and how special teams is as big a part as offensive defense as a special teams coordinator. Is that an intriguing kind of pitch?
Yeah, no, yeah, it is, and he's definitely, you know, shown that he values that aspect of it. One thing I always tell our guys, and you know, I hadn't had meetings yet or anything, but when we get to that point, you know, if you're on punt and kickoff, you're on defense. Like, those are the first plays of defense, and KOR and punt return are the first plays of offense. You know, so like, you look at it like that, and you might not have as many overall plays in special teams, but you have an opportunity to affect field position, and there's a great opportunity to change the game in those phases. You know what I mean? Like, a special teams play might be a 40-yard change in field position, where an average offense-defensive play is, you know, depending on the game, 5, 8, somewhere like that. So, you know, it's just opportunity to really affect the game. So, important plays, and you know, it's got to be important to your guys. But like we say, it's first play offense and first play defense, kind of how you're looking at it.
At Toledo, you had the same split, kind of was as the tight ends coach and the special teams coordinator.
Mhm.
What did you learn about kind of balancing those two roles during your time there?
Yeah, that's a good question. You just gotta, you gotta be organized and gotta, you know, be good with time management because both of those roles demand a lot of attention, and you just gotta be organized in your time. And you know, when you're with the offense, you're with the offense. When you're doing something for special teams, you're doing something for special teams. You know what I mean? Just being where your feet are at the time, and you know, being able to just time management's the biggest part of that. You know what I mean? Just can't waste time. But it helps you stay organized. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. So you just gotta stay on track and, you know, have a plan.
Have you had some one-on-one time with Coach Lunny? I assume you have. And
Yeah.
how's that gone so far?
Yeah, no, I've had some. He picked me up for my first day. I didn't have an ID yet, so he picked me up from the hotel. So it was nice of him. No, it's been good. I go into his office and ask him questions. I've been trying to, you know, just learn the offense, and so I've probably been in there 4 or 5 times a day. Just like, hey, what is it? You know, explain this or whatever. You know, just so I can learn it, so I can teach it to the guys. But he's been good. You can tell he's where he's at for a reason. He's detailed. He's organized. Good person, and it's been fun working with him so far.
Is there a moment that you kind of saw special teams as a path, like the coaching that as a path forward, and you had so much success doing that? Was there any one part of you, or wide receiver in college? So it's not like, you know, what was kind of the origin of this?
Yeah, you know, my first job in college was for Coach Fritz, and he was the head coach at Sam Houston State, and he was running the special teams. So I think that kind of shows the emphasis he put on it, but he hired me to, like, help him do that, you know. So that was my first job, so that's what I learned first, and that's helped me get other jobs too, you know. There's a lot of people that can go coach tight ends, you know what I mean, and there's a lot of people that can go coach special teams. There's having, you know, the more, I guess, that you have in your arsenal, you know, the easier it is. But no, that's how I got started on it, and then it just played out from there. Those are just the opportunities I had were involved in that, and, you know, and I enjoyed doing it. It's fun. It's you know, I think other than the head coach as a special teams coordinator, you get to be around the whole team. You get to have genuine relationships with more players than anybody on the team, other than probably the head coach and the strength coach. You know what I mean? So that part's the best part for me. You know, you get to have genuine relationships with more people on the team than most other coaches. So that, I don't know, it's just how it played out, you know.
Philosophically, do you lean more aggressive or conservative on returns, more personnel driven? Like, do you kind of approach on that?
Yeah, I think you got to be personnel driven. You know, what do your players do best, and how do you put them in position to do that? But yeah, I'm always going to want to be aggressive on it. You know, it's you don't ever want to be average at anything you do. You know what I mean? Like, our goal isn't just to, like, survive it. You know, it's to thrive in it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd like to be aggressive, and you know, there's obviously times to do it and times not to. You got to be smart with that. And, you know, the best piece of advice I got, and this was when I was younger, from Coach Fritz, he just said, you know, when you're calling it on your own, call it like you would if you were a head coach. If it's best for the team to do this, do it. If it's best to be safe on this, be safe on this. So, you know, that's one thing I try to do. You know, obviously nobody's perfect, but
You got a 30-year-old punter. I mean, is that
That's
unique
awesome.
in your coaching career?
yeah. Well, so my first job coaching special teams at Sam Houston, I was a GA, and I was 23 or 24, and our punter we just got was 25, so he was older than me. But yeah, I think it's awesome. So I'm excited to get to work with him. But yeah, those Australians, man, they come in older sometimes. So it'll be good though. I'm excited.